Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a College of Whispers Bard build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a modded class that was made by juniorkowal here. Now this allows you to add psychic damage to your attacks using the psychic blades, as well as do some different things applying fear to enemies, which I'll be breaking down all in this video. So I'll also be doing gear as well as showing it off in combat near the end. So with this, we're going to go with the Bard, obviously level 1, and for cantrips we're going to take Vicious Mockery, hilarious cantrip, and also take Mage Hand because you can use this to throw health potions. For spells, Healing Word is just nice for picking up down to allies. I like Thunder Wave. This is probably the most effective spell that we get at level 1 because this can push enemies off of cliffs and sometimes lead to some easy knockouts. Dissonant Whispers is also nice because you can apply fear and do psychic damage, and then Tasha's Hideous Laughter to knock a target prone. For our ability scores, I think it's best to go 16 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence and Wisdom, and 16 Charisma. With the Bard, we want to go all in on our Charisma here, so this is going to be the stat spread we use, and make sure for skill proficiency that you do have Deception and Persuasion for dialogue rolls. Now, I'll also, as I mentioned, show off the gear as well, because there's certain pieces that just make this really strong. So at level 2, we get ourselves the Jack of all trades, so you get half your proficiency bonus in all ability checks you're not proficient in, Song of Rest for the free short rest, and we get to take a spell. Now things like Fairy Fire can actually be pretty useful, or Long Strider for the increased movement speed. That's what I'm going to roll with because, hey, it's really nice to have an extra 3 meters movement speed. Now for our subclass, we're going to take the College of Whispers. Master of Deception and Intrigue. Use magic and guile to uncover secrets, manipulate foes, and strike from the shadows with Whispers of Fate. So you get the Psychic Blades, which does your melee damage plus 2d6 of psychic damage. Psychic Blades ranged. And then we also get the Words of Terror, which can frighten up to 3 humanoids you seed paranoia into their minds for 10 turns. Bonus action. This is pretty strong, but you're going to see. It's also quite fun to play. At level 2, we do get some good spells like Hold Person, Hold an Enemy Still, free crits. May as well go with that. And that's what we're going to roll with. And for the ability scores, you can take Persuasion and Intimidation or Deception, one of those there. So yeah, the level 4 that we get our first feat, and I think the best feat to do is an ability score increase to our Charisma. For the spells, Cloud of Daggers can be really nice because it doesn't have a check. You can just drop this down, the enemy will take damage if they pass through it. Heat Metal is another nice one, and Shatter for the thunder damage, but I think Cloud of Daggers is actually pretty solid. And then for the next spell that we'll take, we'll go Minor Illusion because you can use this to group enemies together before combat. It's pretty useful. So yeah, we'll roll with that. And then at level 5, we get the Bardic Inspiration going up to 1d8. We also get Bardic Inspiration back at short rest. And we get level 3 spells with Glyph of Warding and Plant Growth being 2 very good ones, as well as Fear, making targets drop everything and become fearful. If they drop their weapons, you can pick them up. We're going to go with Glyph of Warding, though, because it's nice to set up with and deal a little bit extra damage. At level 6, we get ourselves the Counter Charm, but we also get the subclass feature Extra Attack, which does boost our damage potential very, very high. We also get ourselves Counter Charm. And for our next level spell, Fear or Plant Growth. Plant Growth is nice because it doesn't require concentration, so you can just set this up. And then the enemy's got a hard time moving around. At level 7, we get ourselves another spell here, and I think that Confusion can be a really good one. Greater Invisibility is also nice, especially with the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel. It lets you cast that for free afterwards, same as Confusion. We're going to roll with that there. It's pretty strong this way. Now at level 8, we get ourselves another feat again, and we get the choice of another spell. We're going to go with Fear this time around. You also can go back. If you're using Mistress spells, Ralutham's Psychic Lance here is actually one of the best choices because it's psychic damage focus and you can hit from range for 76 psychic damage, so we can go with that as well. Esmer's Lullaby is also nice too, but I think Ralutham's Psychic Lance is very, very strong, so we'll also just take our Charisma up all the way to 20, as we got some weapons that we could use that can actually boost up our, or just use Charisma as our attack rolls. At level 9 here, we get our powerful Hold Monster spell, which is great in late game. And then at level 10, we get ourselves another choice in cantrip. You can take Friends, be careful if you're on honor mode. And then we'll take Dominate Person here, but you can go back to some of the previous ones like Discordant Melody. Actually, Synaptic Static is actually really good too, and it fits thematically here, so we're going to take that. Now for our spells. If you have Mistress spell, Steel Wind Strike's the best, does 60 10 of force damage on 5 different targets, which is crazy. But the best two, combining Cone of Cold alongside Conjure Elemental is really nice for a couple of reasons. Because the Water Myrmidon that you can get from the Elemental can actually set up vulnerability to cold damage, and then you can hit him with Cone of Cold, creating a nice surface and dealing double damage. That's just the strongest picks. You can also go with like Banishing Smite, which is pretty fun too. Or as I mentioned, Steel Wind Strike. Macabre Explosion's also pretty good because you can explode corpses around you. But we're going to go with this too. It's honestly quite strong. And then for our skill proficiencies, we can go ahead with whatever you didn't take previously. And we'll roll with that. Now, there's two ways we can proceed. We don't have to go all the way to the Bard. We can take 2 levels of Fighter here. 2 levels of Fighter will give us Action Surge. And we can also take it at the start. If we were to respec into 1 level Fighter to start, we get Constitution Saving Throw Proficiency and Heavy Armor. However, I'm just going to keep it this way because this is actually still very strong. So, at level 11, we'll also get ourselves level 6 spells like Eye Bite, Irresistible Dance, or Dominate Person. You can alternatively also add in 2 levels of Paladin for Divine Smite, but we already have a Smite adjacent skill with our Psychic attacks, so we'll just keep it this way for now, just to show off the full power of this. And at level 12, we get another spell, so you could go with like Otto's Irresistible Dance, or any of the previous spells that you may have wanted to take, or even like Discordant Melody, as it fits. And for our feat, we can go with another increase of Dexterity. We can go with the Alert feat for +5 to Initiative. You can go Savage Attack or reroll your damage die. There's a few great options like that here, so I'm just going to go with the Alert feat for the better Initiative because I find that just works best for me. Now, what this looks like for gear. Now, I like to go with the Mask of Soul Perception for better attack rolls since we're a melee kind of hybrid here. We had 2 attacks and they do psychic damage, which is huge. So Cloak of Protection also nice to get in front. Bhaalist armor here is nice because this will apply vulnerability to piercing damage, and if you're in there, you can have archers that'll also attack and do double damage because you have the Bhaalist armor here. So for that reason, we're going with the Infernal Rapier because this will use our Charisma for our spell for its melee attack rolls, and we get a +2 to our spell save DC, and it's piercing damage, which benefits off that. So alongside, if we have the Resonance Stone, our psychic damage is doubled, so we can double our piercing damage and our psychic damage to make this actually really strong. I also want the Hell Dust Gloves for better spell save DC, same as this. This gives us better spell save DC. And then this means that we're landing spells more frequently. I also want the Amulet of Greater Health, the Killer Sweetheart Ring, Ring of Protection, and Evasive Shoes. And I also went with, for the bow, the Hellrider Longbow for the +3 to Initiative. And you also can apply Fairy Fire on your attacks. But Contour Mail also works great, and the hand crossbows, so take which of those that you prefer. So, rolling into combat, I'll show off the cool ways to make this very powerful. Alright, so we got our Water Myrmidon and our Cambion here from the weapon, so we're ready to wreck things. Now, there's a few fun ways that we can go about combat. We want to use the Psychic Blades as much as possible. These deal additional upward to 5d6 psychic damage, which is doubled. But Synaptic Static is also a nice spell too from Mistress Spells, so we can use this to drop down and just set up a bunch of... it'll probably take out a few of the targets there, but it'll also apply a debuff to them all. Now, what we want to do is we want to get in and use our Psychic Blades attack. So, showing off that there. I won't even crit because I know that will take him out. 38, 24. So, the psychic damage that we get from that is pretty crazy. You only use it once per turn, so you can even, like, I guess we'll proc that opportunity attack. That's fine. We can go with a ranged attack to also take them out. So, boom. We'll just go with the bow attack. And he blocked it. I should have used that Executioner. And then we also have the Words of Terror, which can... frighten up to 3 targets. So what's nice about this is you got additional crowd control, so I guess we can go with this on this target and this target. Oh, they're out of line of sight, so I'll just move into their line, and once you fear them, they're going to be pretty useless. This one has a high chance of succeeding, and 2 of them are frightened, so perfect. So yeah, that is a pretty good first turn. We took out a few of them, and there's the Synaptic Static debuff on them. We can charm targets as well if you got the Illithid ability. Yeah, that's pretty strong. Now, another thing with the Water Myrmidon, this can actually be nice because you can set up ice surfaces this way. It can also teleport, so you can actually make it to like the back lines and then drop your healing vapors. Yes, this is going to heal them, but it's also going to apply wet to the targets, which means they take double cold damage. So whenever that's applied, you'll also create an ice surface that you can drop down Cone of Cold, and with that, it'll also be able to take them out. So it'll create that ice surface. They lose their turn. It's a win-win for everybody. So it's our turn again, and we got to make our way up there. So what I'm going to do first is we'll just do our Psychic Blade again. This will take this target out. They have full health. They got healed. And yeah, I don't need to use that on them. That hit really hard. 34, 28. Yeah, exactly what we wanted. And then since we're up close, they now have the vulnerability to psychic damage. Then we can follow it up with the ranged version of that attack. And that just uses our extra attack. So that'll take them out. 48, 6, yeah, that's a lot. And then we want to get into a position where we can Cone of Cold them. So we'll just move into prime position and then drop down to Cone of Cold. I don't know if I can get any closer to this because of the brain at the door. So I'm just going to hit those 2 targets. and then make that all ice surfaces. So yeah, we don't want to move too much whenever we got the ice surfaces set up. But then you can also follow it up with like a Mind Blast too. The Mind Blast, if you get the Illithid ability, is actually really strong. So boom, that took out another one of them and he's now stunned. So that was a worthwhile exchange. And when you end your turn, sometimes you can end it by running on ice to make sure you don't knock yourself over. And we got our Cambion here, which I'm just going to use to do a couple attacks with and get them blocked. He's more so just for tanking and taking hits. But Underwater Myrmidon could also be used against this target here because we're going to have advantage on it. 32, 33. Yeah, it hit hard. So we took out all the targets at the gate, so we can now move our way back down here. I always like to use the teleport that comes with the Myrmidon so we can get up in their face. And then next turn, they'll be focused on him, which is perfect. That's what we want. It keeps us alive. And we got to get up in their business again and start fighting. So we'll just start off. I always like to use the Psychic Blade on whoever's closest. It's pretty much a guaranteed knockout. Yeah, 68 psychic damage. That's just crazy. And then you can follow it up with the psychic attack there. Make sure you're close enough so that you see that they're getting the vulnerability to psychic damage in, but not getting disadvantage on your ranged attack roll. And you can see it does a lot of damage. And then we also got ourselves, we're all out of Bardic Inspiration now. So yeah, we do have to resort to other methods, but we got Rhythm Psychic Lance here, which will hit also very hard, 56 damage. That was pretty good. We already used our Mind Blast, but I guess we could go with like the Black Hole if we wanted to hit them. We're pretty low on options, but we'll just end up ending our turn here. And then using our Cambion, that's very low hit chances are all going to miss. Oh, one hit. And then we'll hit him with the ice attacks, finish it off, hopefully. Oh, cool, they blocked them all. And yeah, they're close. They're coming right after me. That's perfect. And I'll just apply a charm there because they're not going to attack me again. Let's go for them. And finally, then I'll be able to wipe them out. So yeah, they just went after him. 3 damage. Try to check him. He ain't checking a Cambion. And since we don't have any of the psychic damage left, we have to resort to spell casting. But we have a lot of spells that we haven't been using. We can apply sleep on a target or anything like that with eye bite if you really needed to. We also got hold person, so we can drop hold person on a target and then they're held in place. And to finish them off, we just go with a weapon attack, which will be a free crit and deal double damage from the Bhaalist armor. So there it is. That is the College of Whispers Bard in Baldur's Gate 3. I was requested to do a build on this, so I'm glad to finally be able to do that, as it's now in the mod manager. So let me know which mod build you would like to see next. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all in the next video.